Hey Cyber Club members, welcome back. It's your girl Miss Emily back here with you for another incredible episode of Cyber Club. This week I've got some super fun activities planned for us and a couple new mini segments too to keep our mind sharp over the summer break. The first is Word of the Week. See, building a strong vocabulary is really important. It can help us express our thoughts and ideas better, improve our reading comprehension, help us think and understand better, not to mention it's great for winning arguments. So from now on, every week, we're going to learn a new word together, starting now. This week's word of the week is uncanny. The definition of uncanny is surpassing the ordinary or normal. So if something's uncanny, it's so mysterious, strange, or unfamiliar that it seems supernatural. For example, if you hear strange music and you can't find its source, you might call it uncanny. You can also use uncanny to talk about something that's so remarkable it's not something we expect to see. As in, she has an uncanny ability to guess what I'm thinking. Or how about this? I have a science experiment for you that is so uncanny, you won't believe your eyes. I think that works. And it's true. So let's head to Science Club and check it out. These are neodymium magnets. They're a type of rare earth magnet, which are the strongest magnets in the world. You can see there's actually 4 separate magnets here, and even as small as they are, it's really hard to get them apart. I finally got one by itself, and it snapped back so hard and fast that it broke. But it's cool because it actually gives us an opportunity to learn a little bit more about magnets. You might already know that magnets have a north pole and a south pole. When the north and south pole are brought together, they attract. But when 2 of the same poles are brought together, they repel. Have you ever heard that expression, opposites attract? That's where it comes from. Can you think of any ways we could use these reactions to our advantage? This is iron powder. It's made from grinding or filing down iron, just like sawdust is made from sanding wood. Watch what happens when it's exposed to the magnet. This is just a regular plate, and when I put the magnet on the bottom, it snaps to the plate and is really hard to move or get off. So you can imagine what happens when there's nothing between the powder and the magnet. It's gonna take forever to get this off. Alright, I managed to get most of it off with duct tape, but it was a pain. This is just normal sand that has been colored. So we know that this magnet is strong, but do you think it's strong enough to pull the powder out of the sand? Wow, it looks like it got it all, but maybe a tiny bit out. I hope you like this experiment, and make sure to keep watching this channel because I've got a few more amazing magnetic experiments planned for us. Alright, so we've had our word of the week. Now it's time for our other new mini segment, Fun Fact of the Week. Did you know that memorizing facts and lists can build the foundation for higher thinking and problem solving? Not only that, there's some pretty amazing facts out there for us to discover. Take this one, for example. Sometimes it seems like everything about our world has already been discovered, but that definitely isn't the case. It wasn't until this year that the smallest reptile in the world was discovered. This tiny chameleon, discovered in northern Madagascar and measuring just 28.9 millimeters, is believed to be the smallest reptile on Earth. The itty-bitty chameleon is so small that it eats mites and hides from predators in blades of grass. And I want one. It's adorable.
Snack time!
This week's snack is part yummy treat and part scientific wonder. You may remember that last week we kicked off a series of crystal growth experiments, and this week's edition just happens to be edible. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm not going to say these were the easiest things to make, because they weren't for me, but they're pretty cool, and the ingredients at least are easy. All you really need is sugar and water and something for the crystals to grow on, like a string or a popsicle stick. First, you want to coat your string or stick in sugar by dipping it in water and then sugar, then let it dry. The sugar will give the crystals something to grab onto. Now grab a grown-up and head over to the stove. We'll be using a 3-to-1 ratio of sugar to water for this experiment. That means for every cup of water we use, we'll add 3 cups of sugar. We need to use that much sugar in order to make a supersaturated solution, which means we're putting as much sugar into the water as the water can dissolve. Let the mixture boil for a couple minutes until it becomes clear again, and then remove it from the heat. You want to let it cool down to just warm, otherwise it'll melt the sugar off the sticks we made. Once cooled, fill your containers with the solution and add your flavor and/or color if you're using any. I've got cherry red, blueberry blue, purple grape, and orange lemon, because I didn't have any yellow food coloring. Now take your skewers and clip your clothespins to the top and float them in the mixture. You want them to be at least 1 inch from the bottom and side so that the candy doesn't stick to the cup. Then cover the top and find a safe place for them where they won't be disturbed. And now, we wait. It can take anywhere from a few days to several weeks for the larger crystals, but you should start to see some form overnight. I've let mine chill in here for a little over a week, and I think we've got something. So let's pull them out and see. You'll probably have a sugar crust growing on the top, and that's normal. Just take a butter knife and carefully crack it so you can pull out your candy. Wow, it worked! You can reboil this mixture and make new rock candy too if you want. But now we need to dry it, so suspend it over an empty container for an hour or so. I know, but we already waited a week, so don't get impatient now. And here is the final result. Only problem is they're too pretty to eat. This week's art project comes to us all the way from Japan. It's called Suminagashi, which means spilled ink, and it's the traditional art of Japanese marbling. It dates back over 1,000 years. The effect is beautiful, but it's also a meditative practice to quiet and focus the mind. Traditionally, it's done with ink, water, and a solution called turpentine, but there are many inexpensive kid-friendly kits available, and that's what we'll be using. Our kit comes with ink, some tools, a tray and paper, and some powder to make a solution for the ink to float on. That's what this is here. Now we use our ink to create the design. It's so cool how the new color opens up the old color, but you can still see the old color around the edges. I really want to keep going, but I think it might turn to mush, so let's try the tools. We can pull the color around with these. Now we transfer it to our paper by gently laying the paper on top, and once all the edges meet the water, pull it back out. But try and pull it straight up and not by one corner because the paint will drip and smear like mine did a little bit here. Still though, it came out great and it was really fun and meditative. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If there's something you'd like us to cover, have an idea, or even want to star in an upcoming episode, be sure to let your director know. Your people will call my people, and we'll make it happen, right? Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.